Hello, Shawnee students. Welcome to your SAT Vocabulary Week 1. As you know, we did this SAT Vocabulary Week 1 PowerPoint in the classroom, but I am uploading it in case you're interested in watching it again before the quiz or the test as a review. Don't forget to take your notes on the little organizer that I provided for you. Ultimately, you will cut that down and place it in your ILJ and complete the homework associated with the vocabulary study on the opposite page of your ILJ. For week 1, all of our words are adjectives. And as a review, I know you know this, adjectives describe or modify nouns and pronouns. They can specify which one, what quality of something, or how many. And our first word is sagacious. And if you recall, each week the definition slide will be exactly the same. We have the word at the top. It's broken down in syllables, first bullet. The second bullet is a reminder of the part of speech. The third bullet is the pronunciation. Fourth bullet, very important, is the definition. And finally, the fifth bullet, I have a variety of forms. When you're taking notes, you definitely need the word. You definitely need the definition, and I do want you to write down the forms. Now, you don't have to write down the entire word of the forms. If you just put ly and adv, that tells you that if you add an ly to sagacious, you're creating an adverb. Same thing with nes for a noun. So you can abbreviate on your notes. So sagacious means someone who is wise or shrewd or very clever. And we discussed in class the variations of this word. For example, your grandparents you might consider to be very sagacious. They've lived long lives. They have learned from their life experiences, and that makes them wise. Shrewd individuals are people who are rather crafty. I think sometimes of people who take advantage of others or criminals, and they too can be sagacious. And just anyone who is generally clever might be called sagacious. When I think of someone who is sagacious, I think of television, crime detectives. Many of TV's most successful crime dramas feature sagacious detectives whose keen instincts always help them solve the crime. So if you can think of your favorite detective on television, and you can associate that word sagacious with them. Notice that I have highlighted the word in bold with a different color, the vocabulary word in the sentence, and then I have indicated the noun that it modifies in italics. Our next word is loquacious, and this always seems to be a favorite word of the 8th graders as they move through the year. They always seem to go back to this word and remember it a great deal and use it as well. So loquacious simply means talkative. Someone who is overly talkative can be considered loquacious. Once again, you can add an ly to turn it into an adverb, or an nes creates the noun form of the word. When I think of loquacious, I think of a gathering of teenage girls, and in this circumstance, we'll say it's a slumber party. When Ashley's best friend spent the night last week, her brother complained that their constant loquacious banter and giggling kept him awake. Our third word for week 1 is diligent. And as I mentioned in class, I hope very much that each and every one of you exhibits the qualities of a diligent student this year. Someone who is diligent is very careful in the things they do. They show care about their work. They are very attentive in anything they undertake, persistent, don't give up, in any task that they undertake. And certainly being diligent in class is a really good thing to do. Here you can add ly to make an adverb. And I'll carry the school theme over to the sentence example. Students who are diligent about completing their assignments and paying attention in class get better grades than those who goof around and fail to do their work. And I'm pretty sure you all know that that's true. So diligent. Be diligent students this year. Our fourth word is winsome. And winsome describes a person who is cheerful, a very pleasant person, easy to be around, enjoyable to be around, and someone who's got a very merry attitude about them. Again, you can add an ly for adverb and nes for noun. Here's our example of someone who's winsome. Kelly's preschool teacher enjoyed the energy of the winsome little girl who always had a smile on her face. She just looks winsome. And finally, the fifth word is reticent. And someone who's reticent is reluctant to come forward or to speak or to do something. Perhaps they're nervous about giving a speech in front of class or giving a presentation, so they're very reticent about it. They're very reserved, meaning quiet, sometimes shy, and they tend to be quiet or silent. Now, as I mentioned in class, you can be situationally reticent, or it could just be the quality, the character quality that you have. In some of my examples, I'll give you the opposite of the vocabulary word, and this is one of those circumstances. Bengals fans are rarely reticent about their intense dislike for the Steelers and their fans. In fact, they're quite vocal about those feelings when the Steelers come to town. That man who's wearing the number 18 jersey doesn't look very reticent, although the Steelers fans look like they're a little reticent, probably because they're losing. Reticent. Finally, a reminder about the homework that we discussed in class. On the opposite page of the ILJ, you're to select 4 of the 5 vocabulary words from this week and create personifications of them. Pretend that you're turning that word into a person and personifying that word. All of the 4 words need to be accompanied by some little sketch or drawing that is associated. In this case, I've got an example of clandestine, secretive, and this particular student described what a clandestine person might look like, how he acts, the kind of job he might have, and make sure that these personified vocabulary words this week, you accompany them with at least 3 sentences to help describe. And I assure you that when you do this homework, it will truly help you remember the meaning of the words. And have fun with it and be creative. That's all for week 1. Have a good evening.